New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy will deliver his final State of the State address tomorrow. The governor will lay out plans for the Garden State in 2025 ahead of the gubernatorial election this fall. Joining us now, Kristoffer Shields, director of the Eagleton Center on the American Governor. Welcome. Good to have you with us.
Thanks. It's great to be here, Chris.
Hey, so this Governor Murphy, this will be his final State of the State address. So what are you anticipating as far as the tone, the messaging?
Yeah, the State of the State, I like the State of the Union. It's always sort of a mix of policy, looking back a little bit on what the governor sees as some of his major victories, a roadmap for the future. But this year in particular, as you say, this is the beginning of his final year as governor of the state of New Jersey. So I would look at this as sort of the beginning of his goodbye tour. This is where he starts to lay out what he sees as his legacy and how he wants his administration to be remembered once he's no longer governor next year.
All right, so let's talk about some of the key issues that he does need to address in this final year.
Yeah, I think certainly the economy. That's a huge one that he'll probably talk quite a bit about. Transportation issues, transit, New Jersey Transit. He'll probably talk a little bit about congestion pricing, those sorts of issues. He will probably bring up taxes, all the sort of state issues that you think about when you think about the state of New Jersey. It really is a state-specific speech. But I do think it's worth emphasizing that this speech, he's going to do it in that framework of the broader message. He's already sort of said stronger, fairer, more prepared to meet the future. I think that's what he's going to want people to take away from this once they walk away from it.
It's funny, you hear some of those words like, prepared for the future or stronger. What that basically, I think for most of us who live in New Jersey and have lived in New Jersey for a long period of time, that means it's going to cost us more money to do things, whether it's property taxes or other taxes around the board. How, in light of how the election went and how the state is not as necessarily blue as it's always been, and with inflation being such a hot button issue, does somebody in the governor's camp finally have to say, we need to make things a little bit more affordable, whether it's insurance, whether it's property tax? We need to make some real changes moving forward.
Yeah, I think affordability, I think being able to sort of live in New Jersey, right? The livability of New Jersey, but particularly for families living in New Jersey, I think that has to be one of the key issues. And I think particularly, if the Democrats want to hang on to the governor's seat, next year in 2025, you mentioned that there's an election this year, right? I think that those are some of the issues. Now, of course, for Governor Murphy, part of it for him is trying to make the case that he has thought about that, right? Because again, he's mostly thinking about his legacy at this point. But it'll be interesting. There will probably be one or two key policy issues that he keys on as sort of the final ones for his term. I would not be at all surprised if those have to do with the economy and with livability in the state of New Jersey. Because, yeah, me too, right? I've lived here 17 years. It's something that we're all thinking about.
Let's talk about congestion pricing too, because obviously the governor continues to hammer home that he does not approve of this and does not see this as the right direction forward, especially for Garden Staters. Does he double down on continuing to try to take this to court to get this overturned?
Yeah, it'd be hard for him to double down too much, right? I think he's made clear what his stance on congestion pricing is. Yeah, but I think it's a reasonably good issue for him. I think he likes the opportunity to look like he's really fighting for the people of New Jersey. This goes back again right to these affordability issues. It's an opportunity for him to say, look, I'm fighting to try to keep your finances in check because the way he sees it, the way the congestion pricing framework is set up is not fair to some citizens of New Jersey. I wouldn't expect it to be sort of the centerpiece of the State of the State address, but I absolutely think it's something that he's going to keep talking about and continue to double down on.
And last question before I do let you go, salt taxes obviously have been a huge sticking point for New Jersey residents, and now you're hearing not only through the efforts of Josh Gottheimer, whatnot, and Mike Lawler out in New York, out on Long Island, but it looks like there could be some kind of ground broken here with the new administration.
Yeah, well, Josh Gottheimer, not coincidentally running for governor as well, right, here in 2025. So, yeah, again, all comes back to these affordability questions, right? And trying to be able to afford to live in a fairly high-cost state like New Jersey. I think that's something you're going to hear a lot about. And certainly it's something that the New Jersey congressional delegation is focused on. And I would assume will continue to focus on because it's something that's at front of mind for New Jersey voters in an important election year.
Kristoffer, before I let you go, are you alluding to the fact that some people that might be running for governor have an agenda going into that campaign?
It's happened before, you know.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't sound like politics. Chris Shields, thank you. Great to see you. We appreciate it. Director of the Eagleton Center on the American Governor, Kristoffer Shields.